Hi, I'm Mary Tingy and I've lived here with my family and I raised 3 children in this house. When we moved in here, it was just a lawn and 1 apple tree, and I just started gardening. I started with a spade and started just digging a patch, and away we went. In this day and age, people are losing their land. When I was young, all the houses were like this. They had these lovely big sections. All the houses had big veggie gardens at the back, and people just naturally gardened. My father had a huge veggie garden, like along with all our other neighbours. But now this section's been cut up. People have been put in little concrete boxes and they have got no choices. When you've got land, you've got choice. You've got the choice of feeding yourself. If you've got nothing, it's really hard to have any choices over feeding yourself and choosing your own food. The very, very special thing about this is to be able to walk out the door and pick your own food. And that's food in which I've got control over how it's grown and when it's picked and how it's cooked. And I think having control over our food is one of the most important things that we can possibly have. If we don't have control over our own food, we don't have control over our own bodies and our own beings. There's always been something to pick in a garden. On this property of quarter-acre, we have a blackberry peach, we have a golden queen peach, a Wiggins peach, a couple of feijoas, a beautiful eating grape, and 3 apple trees. And the Wiggins peach, it just comes in that last week of January, and it's a white peach. You can't cook it, so you've got to eat the whole lot. It's just beautiful. The apple tree in the middle of the section was here when we arrived. It's a very early, very large apple. We don't know what it is. Come the end of January, before all the other apples are in, we have these huge, delicious, crisp, juicy apples that are just an absolute treat that you can even imagine after not having any decent apples since the last autumn. I grow Thornless Blackberries, which I love because as a child we used to collect blackberries and you don't get them that much anymore, and I still come out here now and have it all before the birds can get it and sit here in the garden and just eat them. I never take them inside. I used to make compost at the back of the section and cart the compost every spring down into the garden, which is a huge back-breaking job. And when we read about chickens and how they did all the work for you, it seemed so obvious to not have to do all the carting of the compost. So we built this chicken house, and the chickens are just magnificent. Their little claws are completely designed to aerate the soil in a way that no human or human implement can ever do, and they always leave the soil in perfect condition when they're finished. Their poo helps the bacteria and the fertility. They give me eggs all year round, really, and they are friends. And the other thing about having chickens in the garden is that wonderful sound. It's such a homely sound. It makes you feel so good listening to that sound. And the other thing about chickens is you've got to feed them every day, and it's an anchor in life. You've always got to feed your chickens. No matter what else is going on crazy around in this world, you trot out the door with your chook food and go and talk to your chooks and feed them and collect their eggs. It's a wonderful process. They're a multi-purpose permaculture sort of animal, really. So you move the chicken house around. There should be 2 to 3 weeks on one site, and then you move it around to the next one and just plant straight in. You don't have to do any more. They've cleaned out the weeds, cleaned out the bugs, done the manuring and aerating, and it's a really quick process. So I now dig a hole. This plant doesn't even know it's going to be moved. You could actually plant this in a screaming nor'wester and it wouldn't even bother it. Put the slips off. Pull the plant up, and it's all done. Just like that. Easy. Move the chooks in a brand new garden. We think of gardening as hard work, but it's actually not. You just have to open up a bit of soil, plant a few things and let it go. Take these French breakfast radishes. They will just seed themselves in and pop up again next year as long as you let one plant seed. Everything in my hand will seed itself in, and most of it is self-seeded. This lovely little red mesclun will pop up everywhere once you've got it. Rocket will pop up everywhere. Parsley, spinach, it just pops up everywhere if you just let it go. And best of all, it's miner's lettuce, this little baby here. Get one plant, let it seed, and you've got it forever, and it pops up everywhere. It's full of vitamin C. It's one of the first green vegetables to come up at the beginning of spring. Gardening is the best return you can ever do for anything. You put in one tiny seed, you get to eat all the food, and it'll throw 1,000 seeds for next year. It just does it by itself. You just have to give it some water, nourish the soil workers, and away you go. This plant grew from a little packet of mesclun. I just let it go to seed at some stage, and it's just grown this lovely, beautiful plant this year. And as you can see, every stem is just pods and pods and pods of seed. So from one seed again, you've got this enormous plant. And what I'll do is I'll save some of the seed and give it to my friends. And the other half of the seed, I'll just let it scatter itself around the garden. And then I've got not only food for me, but food for my chooks as well. And all without any effort whatsoever. Isn't that magic? That's what gardens are. They're just magic. This is the easiest way to garden. All you need is your spade and your fork and your veggie scraps. So I'm going to show you how to create healthy soil without having to cart anything to your section or just to use your own waste. So first of all, you dig yourself a wee trench. Where are you going to have your garden? When you start, you just dig a little slice like that. Bend your knees and you've got a trench. There we go. Right, so this is my garden trench. And I come out here with my veggie scraps and I put them in my trench. And then I do what you call backfilling. I get the soil and I cover it up. And then I leave a space for my next bottle of veggie scraps. And I carry on backfilling until my trench is full. And I just leave it there. I let all the microbes in the soil do the work. And 3 to 4 weeks later, I can come in and plant. If it's early spring or autumn, get yourself some broad bean seeds, take yourself a little trench, little seed drill, pop your seed in, cover it up. A couple of months' time, you get broad bean plants. It's as easy and simple as it is to grow your own vegetables. You don't have to buy anything but some seeds and a spade and use your veggie scraps. This is barrier-free gardening because you don't have to spend money, you just have to look around your own place and find out what you've got. And what you've got usually is food scraps. And you've got a spade and a little bit of soil and you can grow your own vegetables. It's completely and utterly barrier-free gardening. One thing about the garden is that you always produce more than you ever need for yourself. In this neighbourhood, lots of us have gardens and we bring each other seedlings, we share produce, and it just creates a wonderful feeling to be able to take some fresh food to a friend or fresh eggs. Our gardens are a central part of our community. My neighbour over there, she gave me zucchini seedlings this year because my zucchini seedlings didn't go so well. So I've now planted a zucchini seedling from her garden into mine. I have given her eggs and I give her extra produce out of this garden, beans and peas and things. My other neighbour, she'll grow things like little mini cabbages and bring me mini cabbage. Or when she's harvested her broccoli, she'll bring me the spent broccoli leaves for my chickens. And then I give her eggs. Eggs and vegetables are often my currency. I sometimes need friends to help me to do things. And when they've given me a hand, I'll pay them in eggs and in fresh vegetables, and everyone seems to be pretty happy about that. It's a wonderful way of flowing between people and communities. A garden is the centre of the flow. Come out, get a seat, get a cuppa, get the paper, lie on the grass, watch your children and just see it all happen.